What's going on? Today, I want to talk about how to trade, or at least how I trade, opening range breaks. And I know I've talked about this a lot, and I think what I'm going to do with the channel, kind of going forward in a lot of videos, is just repetition, right? Talking about the same things and just my personal experience, right? My personal experience on what I have found has worked for me 3.5 years in, having found consistency when after I took a break last year. So starting back in July when I came back, having found some pretty good consistency and really getting to that point was just doing a lot less. And I used to hear people talk about that and it didn't really make sense. And I think it's because when the market is moving, when names are ticking up and down, you feel like you got to be a part of all of it. And then you feel like you're going to miss all of it. And then you notice when you're watching a lot, when you're trying to do a lot, when you're thinking about a lot, you end up missing everything anyways. And then you go back to your chart, you try to do back testing, you try to figure out why you missed it, and it's just because mentally you were not locked in. So the thing that has changed, that's helped me a lot, is focus on less names. I usually am only watching 4. I kind of go through everything. I look at the names I like the most, and then I try to get it down to 4. Occasionally, maybe 5. But even when I have 5 on my list, I'm really only watching 4. And even within that 4, there's about 2 that I'm really looking at. And then all I'm doing is I'm waiting for that opening range break setup. Now, I'm not perfect. I have my moments where I overtrade. I did some videos prior talking about getting trading. If you follow me on Twitter, Tesla recently, I've been overtrading a little bit like crazy. Yesterday, I even overtraded a little bit like crazy. So it's hard to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. The only people who act like they don't make mistakes are the people on social media who usually have a course to sell or a chat room to hopefully get you to subscribe to. But you're human. And unless you put everything into algorithms as far as your trading style, you're going to have times where you just screw up a little bit. The whole point is to just try to avoid stepping on the buried grenade, right? So you don't blow up and everything. You don't have a trading account anymore, and you've made some massive mistakes that are detrimental. So that's the whole point. But I just wanted to go over a Roku trade today that I did, because the last handful of trading days I've been over trading, and I told myself I got to get back to basics, and I got to stop the over trading. Try to wait for one good trade, one good setup, a tight consolidation, opening range break on a name that I think has a chance to go. I like trading the bigger names, so the follow through is generally there when they do follow through, and if they do, it's points. It's not 20 cents. Today, Roku. I had 5 names up. I was watching Apple, AMD, Roku, Netflix, and I ended up just waiting for the one that I believed set up the best at the open, and it happened to be Roku. So just to start with the top down, because I start with the daily and I work my way lower. That's how I come up with the names I like. Roku has been just slowly trending down, right? And I think a lot of people probably even consider this may be going short on this candle, that this may continue to roll over, right? Kind of breaks a pivot low, does not look good, holds up, and then starts to reverse. Yesterday had a big green candle, caught some momentum, right? And so I said, all right, what are some daily levels? So all I did is I said, all right, what is the prior pivot high? Prior pivot high is right there. So the daily, I figured, hey, if we gap over that and we start to push, maybe this starts to make a new leg higher. And remember, we're in such a strong bull market. It's one thing if this market was just selling off drastically. The follow through to the upside wouldn't be there. But the market is so strong, trying to fight that trend is ridiculous. So I've just been riding it. Nice gap up out of some consolidation on a chart that didn't look great. Now I go to the 30 and I say, all right, what could possibly happen here? And then I say, all right, there's a pivot high, right? Nice pivot high here from the day prior. So we're looking at about 133. I believe this high was 133.75. So about 133.75. I know this number is not that exactly, but I just put it down just as a general area. And a lot of times I like the second day continuation, right? So the high of yesterday, 133.37. So that's a good number. 133.37. edit that there. And I'm thinking if we get over that, there's a possibility that we can keep going. And it's trading up in pre-market. So it was doing gapped above it, looked great. And I was thinking, okay, Roku looks good. Now let's just wait for a pattern. And these are these opening range breaks that I like. I know I've mentioned before 1, 3, and 5 minute. 1 I'm not the most comfortable with because it's fast. It's very quick, and I find myself not trading 1 as much anymore. I really do like that 3, 5, and even upwards of sometimes, because if things consolidate off the open, 5, 7, 8, 9 minutes, that's just kind of the amount of time that it'll take for it to possibly finally break its range. But a lot of times I've noticed that right around that 5-minute time frame, or 5 minutes off the open, is when it'll have moved around a little bit and then chooses its direction. So I was focusing only long on Roku. I believe this is going to be a long today. I think it's going to go higher. But now let's find an entry. So I take the pre-market data off, even though I did have pre-market high and low jotted on my chart. So I had the pre-market high and low. The pre-market high was 136.50 was the pre-market high. And I do this all, before market open. So that way I have everything jotted down, and I personally make the pre-market high a light blue. It's just the color I chose. So now let's wait for a pattern. First 1 minute candle, red. No real pattern. I don't see anything yet. Next one, green. If this started to move above the high, I would have considered going long, even though it was relatively quick off the open, right? Big red candle, and I went, okay, I'm still gonna watch this. I don't really like that candle, but I'm still gonna watch. Let's not go chase anything. And then it started to work its way higher, and I thought, okay, this caught up to the 8, right? I like the 8 EMA with the pre-market off, because I notice when it taps it, it can tend to go high. It kind of stops in its tracks. Nothing is. There is no indicator that can tell you exactly what something's going to do. It's all just about having it as a guide, and I like the 8. I also added the VWAP because I like when things are above VWAP and below VWAP to kind of try to focus on that direction rather than going opposite that. And nice candle, and I ended up taking this long right around there. And here's I've been able to pull up my broker. I took this long. I took 3 contracts at $7.35. I got the contracts at $9.67, so they were a little expensive, but I'm okay with that because it's not that much cash in my account to use. So I got long just before the break, right? Bam, right around 135.60s, and I try to use low of day or low of the prior candle as a stop. So I told myself if this gets below 134.50, I don't want to be a part of this anymore because I like to scalp. So I want a fast move in my direction. I want that move to happen very quick based on momentum, or I will get out of the trade. And then once that move happens, I get out of my trade quick. It's a scalp. And that's exactly what happened. So nice pattern, right? Opening range break, creates a range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 minutes, right? It took 6, so it's not perfect. Just because I say a 3 or a 5, or people say 3, 5, 10, it's not always perfect. Just creating some sort of range. And then once it makes an attempt to go break that range, that's my trigger to give it a shot. And then manage risk. Try not to have the stop be too far away. I got long right here. I try to anticipate it a little bit. Just a little bit. So if it doesn't go, I don't get caught in a complete stuff. Anticipate it just a little bit. So I got in probably right around 135.50s. I'm trading options, so it's not like when you're trading shares, you get the exact cent that you were in. Right around 135.50s, and then very quickly it broke. So it broke. It made the new high on the day. So I thought, great. I think this is going to continue to go. Broke above the pre-market, right? Broke pre-market. So now other people are probably chasing into this. Big candle, and I don't hold long. It's a scalp. Move in my direction, take the quick move. Big candle, right? And then the moment it made a new high, I got out for about a 2-point move. Very quick. Got the options at 9.67, took them off at 10.85 for a very, very fast scalp move. That is all I'm looking for. It almost looks, kind of ridiculous. You're like, but what about holding for massive winners? What about this and that? I used to always try to do that, and they always came back on me. My consistency in my trading drastically took a turn when I just said, I want to focus on getting those quick momentum scalp pops. And the good thing is if you're focusing, or at least me, I focus on the big names. So those quick momentum scalp pops on Roku, Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, Facebook, Baba, they're decent moves. They move dollars. So in a very short amount of time, it's not uncommon to get $1, $2, $3 moves. And that is more than enough to be able to make a good amount of money and be profitable. And now what I'm doing is just trying to slowly scale around that strategy. And that's it. Not overcomplicating the process. And just quick opening range breaks. So quick video on that, on kind of how I go about trading the opening range breaks. They're not going to be perfect every day. You're not going to find situations where the setup is A+. But the whole point is to know exactly what you're looking for. And it took me a long time to find exactly what I was looking for. And it's when I started looking at a lot of charts. And I started taking pictures of them. And then I started Bear Bull Traders. They're actually a good group. And it wasn't until I kind of landed on one of their social media pages or their YouTube channel a long time ago. And they constantly were talking about opening range breaks. And then when I started to put it all together and then come up with my own style, is when I started to realize that, hey, if you're focusing on the right names and you really wait for some sort of tight consolidation off the open, when it breaks in one of those directions, there is usually follow through. And that quick momentum follow through move is all I'm trying to capitalize on every single day. And they normally happen within the first 30 minutes of the morning. So I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, but when I am really focusing on doing a one and done trade, right? One and done, try to find one good trade. It's usually in, goes in my favor, out, and done, right? When I have taken a good trade off the open, I do my absolute best to just call it a day because I tend to make stupid trading decisions. So I have created a strategy around me. I'm getting to know myself and my personality and the mistakes that I make after 3.5 years of doing this, that now it was about creating a strategy around that, not the other way around. Figure yourself out or figure myself out and then try to implement a strategy that saves me from myself. And that's exactly what I've done. So opening range breaks, this is about a 6-minute opening range breaks, but this is great. I should have went a little bigger in this because this is a great setup. Exactly what I'm looking for. The first it pulls in. I love when it pulls in because if there is people short here, which it did look like this could possibly go lower, you now get that really fast squeeze once it makes a new high because that's where everyone's getting, the machines are stopping out or people are stopping out, and then maybe some people are joining the other side and getting that very fast move. And this is it. To me, beautiful trade. This is all I look for, and if I can capitalize on this every single day, I know that I can be consistent and just super confident in pulling the trigger, every single day. So, opening range breaks. The little bit higher in time frame, more ideal. 3, 5, 7, 10 minute, the 1 minute opening range breaks. They're fast. I have taken them before, but I'm noticing myself backing off of that and just waiting for some morning consolidation. Let it finally choose the direction. Hop on board. Take that quick move. And then get out. And then I do not trade anymore. Over trading is what kills traders. Having a winner and it not being good enough. And then you take that next trade. And then you lose. Now you're break even. And then that's when the disaster can start. That's where I've noticed I can go crazy. Because I wanted to be up what I was. I gave some back. I can take another trade. I can see another opportunity. And then that's where I've had really nasty days. Of up, go to flat. Flat goes to red goes to really red. So just noticing all of these patterns. And that's why these quick opening range break scalp moves for 50 cents to $1. Today it was $2. I got lucky it was a little bit more because Roku, a little bit of a squeeze factor, and Roku has decent range. That's it. Take the win off the open and call it a day. As much as I want to keep clicking buttons, if I do that, it'll be an absolute disaster. So really learning about myself and all the problems I have after doing this for a little bit. Hopefully this was a good, clear video on some of the things that I do. I'm just going to consistently keep focusing on the same things that have worked for me. So if people are struggling, they can maybe just see the same thing over and over and over and over again to possibly help them make a step forward in their trading, because that's what it's, just focusing on all of the chart patterns and all of this stuff over and over and over has really helped me. So hopefully it'll help anyone watching. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave me in the comments. I love to talk trading. Feel free to reach out on social media. I also love to talk trading. It's I'm obsessed with this stuff, and I like when other people are interested in talking about it as well. So that's it. Have a good day.